Hello, and welcome to Artfully Told, where we share true stories about meaningful encounters with art. I'm your host, Lindsey Dinneen, and I am delighted to be sharing these stories with you. Hello, welcome to another episode of Artfully Told. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Lindsey, and I am delighted to have as my guest today Elizabeth Cooper. She is a wonderful, wonderful person. I'm blessed to actually know her. We're related. She's my cousin, which is awesome, and we grew up very close together. So she is a fantastic person in general, but she is also an artist in her own right, and I'm excited just to listen to her stories and share her experiences with you all. So thank you for joining me, Elizabeth.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a new experience, and I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So first of all, do you mind just sharing a little bit about you and the different art forms that you've dabbled in and all that fun stuff?
Okay, so yeah, as you said, I'm Elizabeth. I'm Lindsey's cousin, and I live here in Virginia and have kind of gotten into art as I've gotten a little bit older. It was actually always fun watching Lindsey and Ashley dance, and my art story actually starts with Jason. He was kind of my I don't know what to call him. I always looked up to Jason and for everything. And, we did everything together growing up.
I'm just going to interject real fast. So Jason is my older brother,
Yes.
and Ashley's my younger sister. So
Yes.
so all of us cousins.
Yeah, sorry.
You're fine. But for those who don't know, all of us cousins, we spent a lot of time together growing up. So there's your context. Back to you.
Yes, we did. Yes. So yeah, I actually started drawing because of Jason. He started drawing mazes back. I don't even know how old we were. And he started drawing mazes. And of course I wanted to copy, everything that he did. So I started drawing mazes, and that's kind of how it started. From there, I don't remember what he ended up doing, if that's all he did. Well, he was always doodling something anyway. Yeah. But outside of doodling, I started drawing just usually Lord of the Rings related, because I was obsessed with that when all that came out. So I started drawing, like copying pictures of, their swords or the crowns or the necklaces, the jewelry and that kind of stuff that they had. I thought they were gorgeous pieces. That's art in and of itself, just the designs that they had. So I started just copying those. I'd see a picture, I'd, look at the picture and kind of freehand it. And so then from there, I started drawing houses, which I think also might have been a Jason thing. I think he had designed a house or something, and something that we had talked about, that it would be fun to design our own houses one day and build them and whatever. And so then I started drawing houses, like layouts for houses, just very basic ones, and all the different ways that you can do it, the different types of houses. So I had a lot of fun with that. And then we have an uncle that is an artist, and I used to look at all of his stuff, and I talk to him sometimes, be like, all right, can you help me with this perspective, or I want the shadows here, or whatever. And he'd kind of tell me things here and there and help me out. Usually what I think of in my head is not what comes out on the paper. So, yeah. So that gets frustrating sometimes. It can be easy, like, all right, forget this, And there's definitely been many projects I've done that with. All right, this is not working, I'm done. I remember taking art in school, which is just again, the beginning basics of art. But I just really enjoyed it. I enjoy being able to take nature or people or, whatever, and just be able to put it on paper. I haven't done a lot of drawing the last several years. I do like to color, which is a totally different thing and kind of cheating, because then somebody else does the art. But I guess there's art in the colors. So it's been a little while since I've done a lot of like drawing stuff, but I pulled it all out the other day for my best friend who's getting ready to have a baby this summer. And so I started drawing an alphabet book for her, which is coming along very slowly. And it's definitely kind of that same, well, it's not quite what I had in my head, but some of the stuff has come out better or different. And it hasn't necessarily been a bad different, just different than what I was thinking, that it would be. So yeah, I've enjoyed drawing buildings. I've done some sketches of some old barns and some old buildings that I've either had the privilege of living next to or of working by. And I really enjoyed that, the landscape, drawing landscapes and stuff. And then with that, I guess that's kind of, I wouldn't say that drawing got me into photography. I'm actually not sure. I'm not sure when I got into photography. I was trying to think about that when I started. I've always loved taking pictures as far as I can remember.
Yeah.
Way back when we had like rolls of film that you had to put in your camera, and hope that you got the shot right. But, on all the mission trips and stuff, I always loved taking my camera and I would get rolls and rolls and rolls of pictures. And so over the years, that's kind of developed. I've done a lot more photography than I have drawing, actually. But I think my favorite thing to take pictures of is, again, nature. I'm a huge outdoors person. I love to be outside. I could literally spend all day outside. And I am just awed by the beauty of nature. And I love capturing it and, the colors and the detail of it. My favorite thing even within nature to photograph is just details. Like, I've been able to get some really good pictures of grasshoppers, like really up close, where you can see their eyes, and or butterflies, you can see the details in their wings. And I think it's kind of a funny thing, but I think bugs' eyes are very fascinating if you've ever looked at a bug's eye. So I have a lot of pictures of like close-ups of bugs' eyes.
That's funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I just love the detail and how intricate it is. And I had the privilege of photographing Ashley's wedding, being one of the photographers for that. And that was outside of what I normally do, but I had so much fun with that and was very grateful for her trusting me to help with that. That's a big thing. Right now, most of my pictures I actually take on my phone, and I'm hoping eventually to actually get a good working camera and then be able to do more with it. Someday my dream would be to be able to take a theme, be it bugs or or flowers, or even castles or old churches, something like that, but be able to go around and photograph all those things and then make a book out of it. Be able to partner up with somebody that can write and put together like a picture book, just to be able to showcase all the beautiful things that we have in this world.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, so that's kind of on the bucket list. That's a dream thing to do, maybe someday.
Yeah. Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you actually kind of have dabbled in creating products from your photography. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah, I have. Yeah, I've done stuff through Shutterfly where I've been able to take the pictures that I've taken, and I make a calendar for my mom every year. And honestly, I'm trying to think what else I've done with it. The calendars I've done. There's so much you can do. Pictures, just plain pictures, little gift things. I've always thought it would be neat to be able to take the pictures and do something with it, whether it's, selling products with the pictures on it to raise money for, a charity or for a mission or something like that. I'd love to be able to share the pictures that I have, but then also do something, do something good with it too. Not just sell it, but like I said, do something good, some sort of charity or something that I could then help donate to.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be incredible. So for both photography and drawing, have you had any training, so to speak, in them? Or like, have you taken classes, or is this, you've just sort of learned as you go?
It's really been a lot of learning as I go. For drawing, the only thing that classes that I've had for that was what we took, goodness, a long time ago.
Oh, yeah.
When we did AMP.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a while ago.
That was his kids.
Yep.
Yeah.
The young kids. So that's really the only lessons that I've had as far as art goes. I've looked stuff up online, like for this book that I'm doing now for my friend. I'll look stuff up online. Okay, how do you draw?
Yeah.
Kind of follow like the step-by-step instructions. And over the years, I've bought all kinds of books on drawing, how to do pencil drawings and nature drawings and, stuff like that, kind of, detailed books on kind of the techniques of how to, but I've never actually taken like an art class like that, like a drawing class, which I think would be a ton of fun to do, because I really do enjoy it. I enjoy drawing, and yeah. And then for photography, no, I haven't taken anything for that. No, I've talked to different people, and again, I have books and stuff that I've purchased over the years that I've looked through, or different people that I've talked to, but nothing, no official class or anything. Which again, that would be something. I mean, I would love to take an official class, because I know nothing compared to the things that you could, especially with these the cameras that you can get have so many settings and stuff. There's so many cool things that you can do with them.
Yeah.
So hopefully someday I'll be able to expand and kind of do more of that and become better, which is the beauty of, well, really any sort of art form. You can always expand it and work on it and learn new techniques and stuff to to make it better, or just different.
Yeah.
Not even better, just different.
Absolutely. Yeah, new perspectives even, or different techniques, or
Yeah.
just, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that. So I know this is going to be probably a difficult question to answer, but do you have like a favorite photo you've ever taken? Something that like really stands out to you?
That is a hard question.
I know. Or like a couple. I mean, it doesn't have to be one, but I'm just curious if, you were like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I captured this moment, or something like that.
Yeah, I do have a few like that, and a few that are like some just flowers that I've gotten where like the lighting was just perfect. And so I do have a couple flower pictures that, that definitely rank up there as some of my favorite ones. And then, like I said, I have a lot of pictures of close-ups of, bees or butterflies or grasshoppers. And those tend to be my favorite too. I really like those. Like I said, I don't know why it fascinates me so much. Just I think because they're different, and I don't know. But I do have some of those that would also probably rank up there as some of my favorites. I have a really good one actually that I got recently of a ladybug on a leaf, and it's like this perfectly green leaf.
Oh wow.
And a ladybug, and the ladybug sticks out so nicely on the green leaf. The only problem is that it's not facing me. If it was facing me, it would be like the perfect picture. But but it's still good. And I have to say that I really like that one too. It turned out really well.
That's neat. Kind of a random question, but have you ever captured a bumblebee?
I do have pictures of bumblebees. Now, they're not generally flying, but I do have some pictures of bumblebees.
They're really cute. We have this one that's been like hanging out with us every time we have spent time outside for whatever reason. There are these two like ginormous bumblebees that are like super fluffy, and they just hang out. And I've been trying to capture it and I can't, so...
Yeah, well, there's one section of our fence that I think that they're in. That's kind of where they've made home. And so we have a bunch of these wood bees by our gate, actually. And I've noticed this year when I go to fill up the dog bowl outside, just, the regular spigot, off the house, a couple times I've turned that on and a bee will fall out of there. So I don't know why they're in there. It's kind of an odd thing. But then, then their wings are wet, so then they can't fly. So I've actually been able to, I'll usually find a leaf or something that I can pick them up and move them somewhere. It's going to be safe that they can dry out and then can go on their way. But because I've had them right there on that leaf, I've been able to get some good close-ups of them being right there. Last year I got a really good one of one clinging onto the fence. Yeah. So yeah, I do have a few.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. I was thinking about this. It's just top of mind when you were talking about the bugs, and I was thinking that just bumblebee. I mean, they're hovering really close to us, and they're just so cute. I mean, they're very fascinating. I've never seen a bumblebee, or maybe it's a wood bee or whatever, but I've never seen one so close. Yeah. And anyway, but
they're not afraid. They just. Yeah, it would be really neat to be able to capture one like mid-air, flying. That would be really cool. And I don't know, because I use my phone most of the time, well, all the time, I don't know how easy that would be to do. But I would imagine with a good camera, then I'm sure that would be something that could be captured.
So thank you for sharing. It's inspirational to me to know that sometimes you look at well, we were talking about this actually before we started recording, is sometimes you look at an artist that's, first of all, probably had years and years and years and years and years of experience, but also, just this caliber where you think, oh my goodness, I mean, it's just amazing. And I could never do that. And
Right.
so I think it's really inspiring to hear that, yeah, there's maybe some forms of drawing or photography that you look at and you go, that's not me now, but I think it's amazing that you're creating art in a just different way. I mean, you're creating what you are interested in creating, and it doesn't have to be like masterpiece quality from day one. And you're still trying.
Right. Right. Well, and I think then with art and any form of art, whether it's dance or whether it's photography or whatever, it really teaches you patience and the importance of trying again. Okay, you failed, doesn't look like how you wanted to do. All right, let's try it again and try something different. And it, so it helps teach you perseverance and patience, and the importance of like you're saying, yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect the first time. It doesn't have to be perfect ever, really. I mean, as long as you're enjoying doing it and you're trying your best, that can be good enough.
Yeah. I love that. I love that perspective. There's value in the creation process and not just the final product,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good perspective. I like that a lot. Well, I have a couple questions for you, if that's okay. So I like to just kind of, hear different perspectives on these questions. So first, how do you personally define art, or what is art to you?
So I never really, honestly, I'd never really thought about that before. But I think I would say I would define art as a piece of work that someone is inspired by. Like someone sees something around them and they're inspired by it, and so they want to then recreate it in a way that means something to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, I feel like art is it's a very personal thing. Everybody sees it differently, and so yeah, I guess I would just define art as anything that is inspired by the things around you, that then you create something from that inspiration.
I love that. That's perfect. Okay. What do you think is the most important role of an artist?
I would say being true to yourself and your passion. A lot of art is its interpretation of what you see around you and what inspires you. So, I would say that it's really being yourself and letting yourself and what you see shine through.
Yeah, so being true to yourself as you create
Yourself.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the final question I have, I'll define it a little bit further than the question itself, but do you think that art should be inclusive or exclusive? And kind of where I'm going with that thought is, so with exclusive, it's kind of an artist creates something, kind of puts it out in the world and doesn't provide any context behind it. So it's completely up to the viewer or participant or whatever to kind of draw their own conclusions, versus inclusive, meaning that they provide some context to their work. So maybe it's a description or what inspired it or what was going on in their head, like just having a little bit more context as far as what the artist's intention was.
I think I'm actually torn on that, because art does tend to be such a personal thing. I feel like there's place for both. If I, as the artist, draw something very specific and I have a story that goes with it and that's what I want to portray, then it might be important to have, some sort of background out there to know kind of what's going on in the picture. So that way when the person is looking at that piece of art or looking at that piece of photography or whatever, then they know what I, as the artist, am seeing and thinking. But then I think there's also a place for, okay, here, I'm going to make this masterpiece and this is what it means to me personally, but here, you look at it and what do you think it means? Or what do you want it to be to you? So I feel like there's really place for both. Yeah, I don't know that I would say that, one or the other is better. I think it really depends on the piece and the artist's intention behind it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know for me sometimes when it comes to like some of the dance stuff that, like we've gone and watched you and Ashley do, that it's nice. It's nice to have a little bit of the background to know, oh, okay, this is what's going on. In the, for this dance, this is what this is supposed to mean or whatever. But then that's not always, it's not always necessary. So I really do think that it depends on what the art form is and what the intention is behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that's a great answer. Well, thank you so very much for joining me today. I really appreciate you taking the time to do so. And, I have some context here that maybe some of our listeners don't, but I have seen some of Elizabeth's drawings and her photography, and she is a beautiful artist doing really, truly. I really love what you do. I think it's really fun, and I like your different perspectives, especially with your photography. I like that. Like you were talking about the details, and I thought, oh yeah, that is something that you just have really honed in on, and that's neat. That gives you something that's a little different than just like a general shot, So I just want to say thank you for creating art. I think that in general, when you are willing to kind of create and share, I think that just brings more beauty and inspiration to the world. So thank you. And actually, I've been the recipient of some of the artwork, or the artwork products, I guess. So I'm super happy about it too. Biased. But no, there's a lot of value to that. And thank you for sharing your insights just about, your creation process and sort of what inspired that journey. That's really cool. So I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Well, that wraps up that. And thank you so much to everyone who is listening to this. And if it particularly inspired you, if you wouldn't mind sharing it with a friend and keep making the world a beautiful place. If you have a story to share with us, we would love that so much. And I hope your day has been artfully told.